The rain poured heavily that grey afternoon, muffling the sounds of the city. In a small third-floor apartment, a tabby cat with piercing eyes and a shaggy-haired dog sat side by side in front of an old table. Their gazes were fixed on something, a small yellowed letter, almost forgotten, which had just fallen from a poorly closed drawer. The owner, Eduardo, walked into the room holding a cup of coffee, distracted. He didn't immediately notice the peculiar scene. When his eyes finally landed on the two animals staring at the fallen piece of paper, a chill ran down his spine. It was as if they were guarding a secret. The silence was broken only by the ticking clock marking time, like the prelude to something monumental. Little did Eduardo know that the letter would change everything he thought he knew about his past, and about them. Eduardo had always been an animal lover. He had rescued Thor, the dog, from an overcrowded shelter where he had been close to being euthanized. Mia, the cat, had mysteriously appeared at his door one winter night, meowing softly, as if she knew it was her new home. Since then, two animals had seemed inseparable. They shared something unique, something Eduardo had never fully understood. The old table where the letter fell was a family heirloom from his grandmother, but he rarely touched the drawers. That afternoon, seeing the two animals staring at the piece of paper, Eduardo hesitated before picking it up. It was a simple envelope with his name written in delicate handwriting he immediately recognized. His mother's, who had passed away years ago. With trembling hands, he opened the letter. The first line made him hold his breath. For Eduardo, Thor, and Mia. He blinked, confused. How could his mother, who had never met Mia, write something addressed to her? Eduardo kept reading. The letter, written years before his mother fell ill, revealed something shocking. She recounted a difficult time in her life when Eduardo was just a child. During that period, she had to make painful decisions to protect the family. Thor and Mia have more in common with you than you imagine. Thor was left behind by someone very special, and Mia, well, she always knew where she was meant to be. When you grow up, they will be there to care for you, as I no longer can. Eduardo could hardly believe what he was reading. How was this possible? Thor was just a dog he had adopted by chance, and Mia, a stray cat. But the letter seemed to suggest something deeper, something he didn't yet fully understand. Suddenly, an old memory surfaced. He, as a child, playing with a dog very similar to Thor, in a house he could barely remember, and the cat. He vaguely recalled a drawing his mother used to keep on the refrigerator, a tabby cat with intense eyes, just like Mia. Eduardo felt a wave of emotions as the pieces began to fit together. He started rummaging through drawers and old boxes, looking for more clues. Finally, he found a black and white photograph, wrinkled with age. In the photo, his mother was holding a puppy, and beside her, a tabby cat lay basking in the sunlight. But the most surprising detail was on the back of the photo. They will always find their way back to you. Eduardo's heart raced. He looked at Thor and Mia, who were now watching him intently. It was as if the two knew he had uncovered the truth. Tears began to stream down his face. Somehow, in a way he couldn't explain, the two animals with him now seemed to be the same ones that had been part of his childhood. The connection was unexplainable, but undeniable. That night, Eduardo held Thor and Mia close to him as he never had before. He reread the letter several times, each word filling the emptiness he had felt since losing his mother. The days that followed were different. He began noticing details in Thor and Mia's behaviors that seemed to confirm his suspicions. Thor always lay beside Eduardo's bed, just as the dog from his childhood used to do. Mia had the curious habit of touching his face with her paw, exactly as the cat he barely remembered used to do. Eduardo decided he didn't need more explanations. Life sometimes offers mysteries that will never be fully solved. But he knew one thing: Thor and Mia were much more than his pets. They were an extension of his family, an inexplicable bond that defied time and space. As the clock in the room struck midnight, Eduardo watched Thor and Mia sleeping together on the couch. He thought about his mother's words and what life had taught him. True love is never lost. It can transform, change form, but it will always find its way back. With a deep sigh, Eduardo turned off the lights, certain of one thing. His mother, in some way, was still watching over him through these two extraordinary beings. They will always find their way back to you, and that changed everything forever.